Hi, everyone. I'm Liz,
And I'm Allison.
and welcome back to Ghosts and Giggles.
Woo!
Woo!
This it's so fun. I'm so excited.
I know, we're back again, and this is going to be another Giggles episode, which means that it's just going to be us talking about our lives and things that go on in it.
Yeah, and what's
And
really this is our first long distance one.
I know, yeah, it's fun. I'm back in Korea now, and
What?
Allison's in New York.
What if I had no idea? I was just like, you're in
Oh my
Korea?
God.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
by the way,
Oh, I have so much I have a story I want to tell you that I waited for the podcast to tell you. I know I'm already getting off topic
okay.
and we haven't even started.
I know we haven't even started. I really quickly just want to let everyone know you're going to see Allison's pets in the background, her cat and her dog,
I know
Leela and
they're too
Charlie.
obsessed. They
So,
can't like be away from me. They have to be like right here. Also, this isn't a
oh,
mess I
for
made.
sure.
This is my dog's bed because she wanted to sit next to me. Um, all right. So this was a story that happened literally a month ago, and I've waited until this very moment to tell you. And I
Okay, I'm
wanted to
really
tell you
excited.
every day. It's a story
Ooh,
of hope. It's a story of struggle. It's a story of walking to my car one day.
okay.
I get really
I'm
deep.
in the mindset now. Like, I'm ready.
This is it's like a sad story, and then it turns like really cute, and it like gives you a lot of hope. And I'm just like, I'm so excited to tell you.
That's so
So
exciting.
like a month, oh my god, like a month ago now. It was like even before I got married, so early December maybe. Um, by the way, we're filming this in February, so I guess that's actually 2 months ago.
Oh,
I spent the
it's been
entire
really long.
podcast trying to decide how long ago the story was.
You didn't even tell me when we were in Disney. Like, that
No,
shows that you really held out for this.
I really did. So
We have so
I'm
much to get
walking
into.
to my car from my first job in the morning. And like I don't have to walk very far, but I walk past all the cars parked on the street. And I look
Mm-hmm.
to the left and I jump and there's a dog sitting there and it's a German Shepherd puppy. And
Okay.
then I look, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this dog before, but I walk this way all the time. And the dog's looking at me and then looking at the ground. And I look down and the dog has a ball on the sidewalk. And so I'm like, oh my
Oh.
gosh, this little baby wants to play fetch. So I take the ball and I toss it to the dog. And I'm like, okay, bye. And so then I walk away and I turn around and the ball is back on the sidewalk. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get in my car and I'm like, I'm going to drive up, double park, like park next to some cars, run over, throw the ball, and then drive to my other job. I pull up and I can't open my door because cars are coming. So I'm waiting and I watch this woman walk by, look at the dog, pick up the ball, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's having so many friends. She takes the ball, puts it in her pocket, and walks away.
Oh my, what? Are you serious?
I start immediately sobbing, and like this was not a woman you like wanted to confront. Like she just looked like she was like
No.
not a nice person. And
Oh
I am like
no.
beside myself. I'm crying. I get to school. My kids are like, like my students in the afternoon, mind you, they're 9 to 10 years old, are like, what's wrong? So I tell them this story and I'm
Oh.
like, what can I do to make this better? And I'm like, do you think it's crazy if I buy a toy for this dog I've never met? Like I've met like once. And they're like, no, you're not crazy. And then they all say that I should call 911. And then we had to have a serious conversation about what 911 was for.
Yeah.
And one kid's like, immediately FBI. And I was like, yeah, I have that on speed dial, kid. So I
Go to the feds, Allison.
go
This is serious.
directly to the feds.
Oh my God.
Tell them about this woman that stole a dog from a puppy. It wasn't even a dog, it was a puppy.
You said stole a dog from a puppy, by the
Wait,
way.
to say stole a ball from a puppy. Somebody stole a puppy from a dog. It was crazy.
Oh my God. No,
So I
they stole the
buy.
mom dog from the puppy. They're like, I don't even want the puppy. Oh my
So
God.
I go to a store that night and I buy a ball for this dog. pull up to school the next day. I go in, I write a page-long note to the owner about what I saw and why I'm buying a ball for this dog. And I put it in front of their house. Like it's like a little like gated area. So I put it in there.
Yeah.
And I walk away and I'm like, okay. I'm like, it just has to be one of those things where you do something good and you never like
Right.
hear anything back, you know?
Right.
I'm walking to my car that day and the dog runs over to the fence, puts his paws up with the ball in his mouth that I got him.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I gave her a big hug, which like don't touch strangers' dogs. I'm sorry. I'd like
I
totally
know.
bypass that rule. And I'm petting her and I'm like, "You're such a good girl. Are you so happy?" And she's like running over to me. I just like have this weird feeling she knew it was me, even though I didn't like I just put the bag with the ball in it, like
Right.
on the front step, but I swear she knew it was me. So
Yeah.
every day I pet this dog now. I walk by and I pet this dog and she gets
Oh.
so excited. Like she doesn't play fetch anymore because I think she kind of like she got really sad. She was really sad after that person took the ball. Like you could tell she was like
Yeah.
really distraught. And the other like I started this week giving her like a treat every time I see her, like this like
Oh my
tiny treat.
God. You're
So the
such a
other
nice person.
the other day
Dude.
she's out in the morning when I park. So I park and the dog runs out. Like the owner was on the street with her and she runs over to me when I get out of my car and the owner's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. She never does this. Like she doesn't go up to strangers. I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "Yeah, stranger. Yes, indeed."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, she just totally ran up to a stranger."
Did
Like
you tell the owner that you knew the dog, that you were the one that gave the ball?
no, I didn't want to get
Why?
I know so many people have asked me that because I've told this story to my students. I didn't want the recognition for it. I kind of just like wanted to do something and
Really?
just like let it be that. I didn't know if the owner would be like,
Oh.
"That's really weird that you gave a dog a ball and I don't know you." Like like
I
I
mean, that's kind of making you a bigger person in a way
yeah.
because you're the one who's just like, I'll kind of keep this on the down low. I'll let it be its own thing. It doesn't
Yeah.
need to be a big deal. And I think that's what makes you look like such a selfless person. I mean, you
Stop.
already are a selfless person. Like, we're gonna probably talk about so many of these stories in the future, but Allison is like one of the most selfless people I know. She will do anything for anyone. Like, actually, I really want to talk about this story for like 2 seconds because I know we could get into this in the future in an episode where we talk about like old crushes or whatever. But like, there was a time where Allison and I went on a date for me together. Like, we went on a date. There was this guy in high school that we both had a crush on at some point, and when we were in college, I
Oh,
ended up like
yeah, yeah.
I ended up like getting a way to talk with him and like we connected and then we decided to set up a date and then I was like, "Allison, I can't do this alone. I'm terrified." Because I was an innocent little baby who never really dated ever. And so Allison was like, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll go together." And so we go down to the beach, like near our hometown, and we went to the arcade, and that was, like, one of the first places, like, we first started out, like, hanging out, like, getting to know, we started playing games, it was fun, like, skee ball and everything, and we win all of these tickets, right? And at the very end of, like, the arcade point of this date, Allison was like, "Hey, Liz, let's go, like, put all these tickets into the machine, get, like, the little, like, ticket, piece of paper, and then why don't you give it to, like, a little kid and make it look like, you wanna give it to someone else rather than taking it for yourself? Because what are we gonna do with the tickets?" And I was like, "You're a genius, Allison. Oh my god, I wouldn't have even thought of that." Like, I would have been like, "Let's go get some candy," or, like, the weird Chinese finger toys, like, just
No, those
anything.
scare me.
Really?
I'm so scared I'm gonna get stuck in one. And my worst fear
Just
when I was
push it
little,
back in.
no, I couldn't figure that out when I was little. That was like literally asking me to do calculus. Like I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Oh
this
my
is it."
god.
I was always scared I'd put it on my ring fingers and that's how I would never be able to get married.
Oh my god. That's a
It's like
big
that's a
superstition.
very, very specific fear. Oh,
Yeah, it's very
sorry.
random superstition, but that's alright. Anyway, so we like give the tickets to a little girl who was walking by. We're like, "Hi, sweetie, do you want these?" Like, I bend down, I hand them to her. Her parents are like, "Thank you so much. That was so kind of you." We're like, "No problem." This was not my idea. This is Allison's idea to make me look good in front of this guy that we both liked. But you were probably dating someone at that time, right? So it was like for you, you didn't care.
I don't think I was dating someone, but I had dated his friend. So it was just like
Oh, so it was
weird.
kind of like an also an in between as well or
But again,
something.
I wouldn't do that to
But
him because we dated for like a year and a half. So I was like, I probably
true.
don't want to be rude.
But either way, it was like Allison was trying to hype me up in front of this guy because first of all, the
I
selfless thought was something you would have done whether we were on a date with this guy or not. We were on a date with him. It wasn't just me, it was both of us. But like you would have done this whether it was just you and me or us with a guy. Like you would have done this on your own
Wait, stop! You're hyping
just
me up
because.
so much.
So I just need
I
people to
love you.
understand this is not like a I love you too. I need everyone to understand that this is not just like a once in a lifetime thing for Allison. Like this is a daily occurrence. So that's that.
Thank
Also,
you.
I keep dabbing my eyes with a tissue because my eyes are very sensitive for some reason and they like to water up a lot. And
She's
so
actually just
that is
always that
why
emotional.
I'm
I'm
just
just kidding.
really I cry all the time,
This
including
pod.
your wedding, which is a
Oh my god.
wonderful segue. I cried for 5 days in a row because Allison got married.
Liz, I told my students about it. And they go, "Is that the one that cries a lot?" And just kept pointing to people. I was like, "No, wait." Because I told them that. They were like, "Oh my gosh, you must have cried the most at your wedding." I was like, "No, my friend Liz cried the most at my wedding. She cried more than me. She cried more than my parents."
Yeah, I know. No, I literally okay, so first of all, everyone congratulate Allison. If you're watching on YouTube, comment like congratulations, Allison. Like she just got married. We went down to Disney World for her wedding. And Allison and I went down like at least 5 or 6, maybe like 5 days before the wedding or 4 days before the wedding.
Oh my
And we
gosh,
had
yeah.
our own little Disney day at Hollywood Studios. We went like around the nighttime hours and we had the best day ever. And then the following day, we had a day with one of our friends and unfortunately our friend got sick, but we were still able to have a great time all together. And then the day after that, we had her bachelorette party, and her
So
bachelorette party
fun.
was in Epcot, which was so much fun. And then the day after that was your welcome party, and that was so cool. And then it came to her wedding. And so when we went to Hollywood Studios, we had a super fun time, just laughed and enjoyed the whole night. The following day with our friend, had a super fun time, enjoyed that day, like, Magic Kingdom was wonderful. The next day, on Bachelorette Day, which was a Friday, um, everything was going so well, and then all of a sudden, we get to a point of we're going to meet Anna and Elsa, and Allison's entire wedding theme was Frozen,
I'm
and she
obsessed. I'm
said
obsessed. It's so bad.
ever since the movie came out. Like, we went to go see
Yeah.
that in theaters together, I think
You
for
were
the
the
first
first one I
time.
saw it with. You were like,
Yeah.
"You have to see this movie." I was like, "No, I don't know if I want to." And you're like, "No, you have to see it." And then I was like, "I'm in love with this movie."
I think I saw it, like, once before I saw it with you, and I don't
Yeah.
remember
I
why. I maybe went with other friends,
legitimately
but
remember like the specific moment where like it's love is an open door, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I want Hans and Anna to be together." And you're like, "Never say that again." And I was like,
like,
"Huh?"
you don't want it. But anyway, so we're going to meet Anna and Elsa. It's a huge moment. Allison almost always does this every time she goes to Disney. Like, if she gets the opportunity, she'll go and do it. And we had met Anna and Elsa in Disney together once before. And I remember it being a really special moment for Allison and just for us in general the last time that it
Yeah.
happened because it was like a once in a lifetime situation that happened where everything was booked out, but there was somehow one spot. We got that fast pass really quickly. And then we met them. It was so much fun. Then we went and bought like Princess Mickey ears. And then we walked outside and fireworks were going off. Like it was the most magical Disney moment of our entire lives.
We literally
So
just
meeting,
hugged each other and cried. Like it was
yeah.
so
And
magical.
this was back in what, like 2016, 2015, 2016,
Yeah,
maybe?
2016.
Yeah. And so now, like full circle, we're going for Allison's bachelorette and we're going to meet Anna and Elsa. And Allison's like getting really giddy and excited when she sees them. And something in me just ignites. And I'm just like, like all the tears are coming down my face because I just keep thinking like this is exactly what she wanted for her wedding. These are her favorite people. She's gonna
Oh.
tell them that she's getting married. She gets to show her ring to her favorite princesses. Like everything just felt so sentimental to me that I just started sobbing. And one of your friends, Mackenzie, had to literally console me while you walked up and talked to Anna and went, Anna, look at my engagement ring, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm just standing like, this is everything she ever wanted. And I'm just so excited for her. And Mackenzie's like, and you know why? Because you're an amazing friend. And that's why you're emotional right now. And I'm like, okay, but also like this is kind of embarrassing. Like here are these
To the
Disney
whole
princesses who are probably looking off to the side like who's that crazy girl over there just like sobbing about this whole situation.
dude, I can't even
But
think about how those people felt because they shut
I know.
like the Disney people were amazing about it because like it was so obvious that I was having like a Frozen themed wedding and like this was like kind of
Mhm.
emotional for some reason and they like kind of shut down the line for us to like like
Yeah.
take time and be private and like it
I
must
know
have been
they let
10
you have
minutes.
like they let you have at least like a 4-minute conversation with Anna
Yeah.
before we took all the pictures.
And it was like never it was rushed. It was kind
Yeah.
of I don't know, I've
And
never
so
seen anything
then
like that.
Allison got her pictures with Anna. I think Elsa came in, you got pictures with both of them.
Hmm.
And then they're like, why don't we bring in like your maid of honor, your best friend, the one who's me, sobbing my eyes out, who is holding a tissue that's crumpled up, covered with tears. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And like, we're going for the picture. I'm sure my eyes are like bright red. And then I don't know what happened. Who said something? What did we say? Do you remember?
I don't
No?
remember.
Okay. So someone said something. We were just like, let's take a picture and blah, blah, blah. And then someone says something oddly hilarious. And I just go,
Did you just do it? Wait, your mic just turned off when you did that.
did it again. Okay, so literally someone said something funny. I snorted through my nose and snot came rocketing out and just covered the whole bottom half of my face in front of Anna and Elsa. And so I had to like whip around and just grab my tissue and be like, wait a minute. And I'm like dabbing at my nose. Oh my God.
And there's a
And
picture of
so
me losing it while Liz is
there's a
like turned
picture of me probably
around.
turned around, just like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Because God forbid if they had gotten a picture when it came out. Oh no, I would have
No, but it's
lost it.
automatic now. It's not like a
I
person taking
know.
photos. So
Oh my God. So like I snot rocket and then clean it up. I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh my God. So we take the pictures and then all the other bridesmaids come in. We take all the pictures. It's great. We get pictures with Elsa and like everything is wonderful. And like after that, I'm like sunglasses down, dabbing at the eyes. Like I'm fine. I'm cool. I'm a boss girly. I'm great. And then the following day, I cried at your welcome party because I
You
got to see
did?
you and your husband having the most magical experience watching the fireworks that I was sobbing my eyes out while you were watching the fireworks and like dancing a little bit and like everything. You had your own little like what felt like a private moment for you too, but it was like
Yeah.
also everyone was watching you. But
Wait,
like,
really?
yeah,
I
like
did
I was
not think anyone
standing.
was watching.
So you and Scott had your moment, which if we hadn't said before, Allison's husband's name is Scott. Um,
What?
love
No.
Scott. Yeah, it's like actually that's not his name. Um, but okay, Charlie.
I know. She's doing
Wow, I
ASMR.
know. Thank you, honey. But
I'm doing
anyway,
ASMR.
so Scott's best man, Dylan, and I were like standing next to each other. He was consoling me. He was giving me hugs because I kept crying. He's like, I know, like, aren't you so happy for them? Like, he was kind of getting emotional too. And so the two of us were
Aww.
like hugging and just like, we're so happy. And he's like recording you guys. He's got his phone out. He's like the proud mom taking photos of you. It was so sweet. I was like standing next to your parents as well, but everyone was just really enjoying the moment. But I was sobbing my eyes out. Next day is your wedding. And
What?
your wedding, clearly, I'm crying from the moment you walk up to the altar to the moment like the entire
Liz,
wedding concludes.
Liz,
What's up?
you were crying when we were getting ready.
I cried when we got ready. I cried when Allison gave me, I forgot. I cried when Allison gave me a note that is the most beautiful, like heartfelt note that I've ever read from
And it
her.
totally doesn't say
And
Merry Christmas in the middle of it.
it does not. And so, oh, that was good. And then like putting her veil on, I was crying. Like every single step of this wedding, like that day was just like tears coming out. And somehow my makeup still looked great,
It
which
did.
thank you, makeup gods. I don't
Um,
know.
by the way, speaking of makeup on my wedding day, my makeup lasted the whole day. I say bye to
It was
Liz.
gorgeous.
When I said bye to Liz, I ugly cried. Like, you know, when you like
That was the
cry
worst.
and you make noises and
Yeah.
like you're like practically screaming.
You're dry heaving, like about to
Yeah,
throw up. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm crying like that. And I come out and somebody's like, "Oh, your eyelash is falling." Like because I have fake eyelashes on. They're like, "Oh, your eyelash is falling off." And I'm like thinking like, "Oh, you know, it's just not glued in the inner corner." No, it was on my cheek. I walked
Yeah, it was
around
pretty
like that for
bad.
like 2 minutes,
Yeah.
talking to people with an eyelash stuck to my cheek.
No, literally. Like these are probably the lasting repercussions of me crying is like my eyes are still doing it.
I still don't have my
But
voice fully back.
I know, like your wedding was so much fun, I gotta say. Like
It
everything
was.
was so fun. It was really great. Everyone was having such a good time. And like the speeches, like I cried a little bit during my speech, but I somehow got through it way better than I expected. I cried, I don't know, just like every moment. I could have been eating my
Yeah.
dinner and crying for all I know. Like like I could have been
I wouldn't be
crying
shocked.
over like yeah, oh my goodness, but it was just so beautiful. And then you guys got to have a private dance, which as soon as I walked outside while you guys were doing that, I cried for that too because I knew how special it was that I started crying again. And then we had to say
Because
goodbye
it
because
was
the
Demi
next day
Lovato.
it was Demi Lovato. And that's like your favorite
I'm
person.
obsessed with Demi Lovato, for anyone that doesn't know. It's very bad.
Like, she likes Demi Lovato more than Scott and probably more than me too. And
I
that's saying a
I
lot.
am not here to confirm or deny.
Yeah. So, but anyway, you got to have your last dance. And then, like, the minute it was over, I knew I wanted to go in and I was going to try to help my dad, like, pack up because my dad DJ'd her wedding, which is really cool. And that's a whole other thing I'll get into at some point in these podcasts. But, um, yeah, like, just I was gonna help him pack up his equipment, and then I saw you walking over to me, and then we both just full sobbing, like that annoying sobbing, like
Oh,
the
I know.
kind of crying. And so we probably hugged for at least 10 minutes, just
Yeah.
crying our eyes out. And then we finally walked outside, cried for another 10 minutes holding each other, like, I don't want to say goodbye. It was so hard. Like, it was one of the hardest goodbyes I've ever had in my entire life. Like,
It was.
and I don't know why. Well,
That
no, I
was
know why. It's because you're my soulmate.
you're my soul. I'm like,
But like,
oh, you don't know why.
you're like,
Okay.
you don't know why. Yeah, because you're
No,
my
it
soulmate.
was that
But
was
literally, just
horrible.
like, oh my God,
That goodbye
one
was
of the most depressing
painful.
moments of my life.
Like,
But
woo.
we'll see each other again in the future. It's not
Yeah,
forever. And yeah, so that was me at Allison's wedding.
I know.
Hooray.
It was a fun time.
It was. It was really great. I had a wonderful time. I made new friends thanks to all of your bridesmaids. Like, so many of them were just so chill, so cool, easy to talk to. And I'm just like, I want you to come to my wedding now.
I know.
Like, I love you guys that much.
I have the
So,
funniest pictures and videos of just like you guys hanging out. Well, I was doing like wedding stuff. I don't know, like
mm-hmm.
portraits. So I was trying to think of the word pictures, and I was just like
Oh my
wedding
God.
stuff.
Like,
And
we
I
had so
cherish
much
those
fun.
pictures. It
We
looked like
had
so
so
much
much
fun.
fun.
It
Oh
was
man,
fun.
love them.
So much
But
fun.
anyway, so yeah, so then after your wedding, I had to come right back to Korea. And I
How was
literally
that?
woke up. Yeah, it was crazy. I think I got like 3 hours sleep.
I
I
stayed up till
woke
4
up.
in the morning. I thought I was gonna say see you leaving.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, no, my mom had to leave before me. So my mom woke up and woke me up to give me a hug and say goodbye. And I could hear her like crying about me leaving like at 3:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I can't get emotional at 3:30 in the morning. Like, I'm exhausted right now. But then after that, I couldn't really fall back asleep all that well. So I ended up like finishing packing up and oh yeah, and when I went back to my room that night, like after I said goodbye to you and my mom was sitting there, I started full ugly crying again, telling my mom that I had to say goodbye to you. And she had to console me, like, "Sweetie, it's okay. Like,
I did
you're going
that
to see each other
too.
again." I'm like, "Oh my God, like I'm a mess right now. This is crazy."
I walked up to
Anyway,
someone I don't remember and started ugly crying to them about saying bye to you, and it was not a family member. I do not remember who it was. I was like,
oh
I
my
just
God.
said bye to my friend Liz. I've never seen someone want to get away from the bride more.
I know, right? Oh my God. But yeah, no, literally just, yeah, I got ready. My dad drove me to the airport. Um, we had to say our own little emotional goodbye because I don't know why my dad got like way more emotional this time saying goodbye to me than like ever before.
Aw.
I think it's because I was at home for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it
Like,
was a
that's a
long
long
time.
time for me, at least, like
Because
here in
last time you
Korea.
were only here for 2, right?
Too, yeah. And my boyfriend was with me, so
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, so got all my plane stuff. It was like a overall, it probably was like 17 hours of flying because I had to fly to Atlanta and
Ew.
then I flew to Korea, and Atlanta was so much easier than I thought. Like, everyone was like, Atlanta's a huge airport, and it was so easy to get through. I was so
Oh,
excited about
really?
it.
I've
Yeah.
only went there once. I can't remember it.
Yeah, and I had to go to the international gate, so I was at, like, the 2 furthest points from each other, which was crazy, but it was so easy, and then I got there early, and it was great, and then my flight arrived back to Korea a little earlier than expected as well, but, it was such a long flight, but I somehow slept through at least half of it, so that was good, and then I got back, and then I was exhausted and I managed to like grab all my stuff and then get to the bus. And then the cool thing was I was supposed to get a later bus, but because my flight arrived earlier, I could get an earlier bus. So then I got this earlier bus with literally like 5 minutes to spare. And then we just went back to where I live now. And I slept the entire bus ride because I was that tired. And then my boyfriend and his mom picked me up, and I got back to my apartment,
Was that
and for some
exciting to
reason
see him?
I was so tired and delirious that, like, I just kind of saw him and gave him a hug, and then, like, we grabbed my bags and got in the car.
Uh, I give him a
Like, it
firm
wasn't
handshake.
yeah, it was weird. We didn't have as much of, like, an emotional or at least maybe not on my side. I'm sure he was excited to see me,
Yeah.
but on my side, I was just like, "Okay, I gotta get home," and my brain was so tired, I couldn't think of anything. But for some reason, I stayed up for another, like, 2.5 hours and unpacked my suitcases. It's like, I
That
could
is
have
so
waited to do
you.
that. I
But
could have
that's
waited to do that.
you hate like living out of a suitcase.
I hate it so much. It's so annoying,
Liz is
and,
the most
like
organized person you'll ever meet. Like everything in her suitcase and bag is like has like compartments. I'll never forget going to the mall once and I was like, darn, I wish I had a nail file. And she literally opened a bag, pulled out another bag, and in that little bag was a bag with just the nail file in it. It was like watching Mary Poppins. Like it
well,
was nuts.
my mom does love Mary Poppins, so I must have got that from somewhere then.
Okay, maybe we should have taken
Oh
your
my lord.
mom to Disney. Mary Poppins,
I
Muppets.
know. I know. Oh my goodness. Anyway, all right, we have only a
I
couple
was
minutes
just
until
about
this
to say
stops
that.
recording.
Okay.
So let's take a quick pause. All right, and we're back again. Did you have a nice little bathroom break? Little potty break?
It was so great. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Awesome. I would
Five
say the same for
stars.
mine.
That's amazing. We
Would
went to
visit
the
my bathroom again.
long long distance besties go to the bathroom.
Just girly things.
Just girly things. What's with this
Anyway, what were you
massive
just
no?
gonna say?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know
Say.
what I was gonna say. I don't
I
want
don't
to
know what
finish
you're
my
gonna say
thought.
either. I thought you were gonna say something about like we were going to something a lot. Did we do something a lot?
Like what?
No?
No, we've never done
I don't
anything
know.
ever.
No, we haven't. No,
We've never done a
never.
single thing.
Nope. I've
So,
got one brain cell in here. I don't do anything.
as we know, Liz lives in Korea. And
I do.
today I was telling my trainer because I had my trainer for my wedding and then like my personal trainer for my wedding and then now the wedding's over. So she's like, "What's your new goal?" And I'm like, "I want to go hiking in Korea." And so that was like my new fitness goal.
Oh my
I was like, "I
god.
don't want to be a mess when I go hiking." She's like, "Sounds
I
like a good
mean,
goal."
to be fair, I think you're gonna be either way. So we're gonna get into the topic of differences of America and Korea. And I think one really great starting point, maybe not a starting point, but one interesting one is that hiking in America and Korea are very different. So, Allison, how would you describe a hike in America?
It totally depends. Like in New Hampshire, a hike is up a mountain. Like I used
Like
to
a
hike.
hike, but some people would even say just going on a nature walk could be a hike, right?
Right. Like in New York, like like where I live, like if I said I was going on a hike, it would be a flat nature walk.
Yeah. Like it really depends on the area in America where you live, but like I guess depending like a lot of people will casually be like, I'm gonna go on a hike, and then they just mean they're gonna walk up a hill and down a hill.
Yeah.
And that's what America kind of thinks is like a hike, is like a long walk. But in Korea, hiking means like actually hiking. Like you're going to be climbing up rocks and hiking the steepest mountain to get to the top where the wind will wisp your hair and you will be terrified grabbing onto a railing like, why am I this high up? So I the first city that I lived in Korea, its name is Sokcho, and it's always going to have a little special place in my heart, even though I was terrified living there and I was such like a anxious little baby being in Korea for the first time. But the one thing I loved about Sokcho was they had a mountain nearby and it's called Soraksan. And so I would go to the mountain with one of my friends, Lindsay, and like maybe like every other weekend between our trips to Seoul to like go drink and have a fun time and go shopping. And I could do all my little K-pop thingies back then. But on the other weekends, we would go to the mountain and we would go hiking. And sometimes it was as simple as just kind of like walking around like the flat bottom part of the mountain, but sometimes it would be like actually hiking. And the very first time I went hiking at this mountain, this group of girls that all were English teachers were inviting me and the other new teacher to go hiking with them. They're like, "Oh, we're going to go hiking at this mountain. Do you guys want to come? It's going to be a few hours, but like, bring shoes and water and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, that would be really nice to like meet other people that live here." So I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Then we proceeded to spend the next 6 hours hiking up a mountain that was one of the tallest mountain points in Korea and one of the most.
That's
I don't know if it's, like, dangerous per se, but, like, half of it is stairs, and half of the hike is walking up stairs that are attached to these rocky mountains, like literal rocks, boulders, to get to the top. And the first half of the hike was fun, it was nice, we were enjoying ourselves, and the minute we got to the stairs is when I was kind of on the verge of having a panic attack, and luckily one of the girls stood back with me, and she was like, "Thank God you said something, because I didn't want to," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm glad at least someone else is on the same page," but it was awful, it was terrifying. But the following day, like, after we got back down and we're safe and blah, 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 I could not walk. Like, it was bad
oh
enough that,
my
like, my
gosh.
legs were so sore that I couldn't even get up to do things. So, for the following week, like, at least 5 or 6 days, um, I had to go to work, and I would literally walk up or down the stairs and go, "Ow, ow, ow." The whole time, I swear people at that school must have thought I was crazy because I was, like, waddling up and down stairs, and they're probably like, "What is wrong with this foreign girl?" But, like, hiking is a whole other beast here, and the mountain in the new city that I live in, which is Jeonju, um, this mountain is known to be the steepest mountain in Korea, and I
I
did
love
that
that.
hike. Oh my god, it was crazy. I did this hike with one of my coworkers, Cindy, and Cindy, I know you're listening because you told me you were going to, so you
Hi,
better like this
Cindy.
video, Cindy. Oh my goodness. Anyway, Cindy and I went on this hike and oh my god, it took us like so long. It took us practically the entire day. I think we got there and started our hike around like 10:30. We finished at like 5 o'clock. It was out of
I
this world.
love
And then we went
that.
and got dinner. But, like, and it was so steep and so freaky. There was, like, one point where I had to stop and, like, talk myself in the moment, and then another point where it was, like, at the tippity top, like, I was almost not gonna go to the very top, and then I was like, "You know what? We followed this old woman up the entire way." Like, she would cut us, we would cut her back and forth. I saw her walking down from the very top. She must have been like 90. Like she was old, old. And I was like, how can she do this, but I can't? And
Yeah.
that's how I hyped myself up to walk up the metal stairs and go to the windy point to take a picture with a rock. And
What if it was
I don't
actually
know
just
where that
Dwayne
woman
the
is.
Rock Johnson up there? That's how you got
Oh
a
my
picture with The
God.
Rock.
Wait, that would be so cool. Oh my God. But yeah, no, hiking is crazy in Korea, and people will buy the sticks to help them hike.
Yeah.
They have the shoes, they have everything. The weirdest one though is people will hike up mountains like that barefoot.
Okay. The craziest hike I ever went on was like a 10-hour hike in Spain. And like it wasn't, I think I want to say it was like 10 miles. Like it was 10 miles. It was a lot. And most of it was flat, but it was on a beach. Have you ever hiked, like actually walked a long distance on a beach?
Kind of, yeah.
It hurts so bad. Oh my gosh, we were
Pushing
all
your
in
feet in
pain.
the sand. Oh my God, yeah.
It was so bad. I was like in pain. I was like, I could not wait to get to like ground. That was
Yeah.
awful. I was like, okay, give me a steep hill. Like the
Mm-hmm.
pain in my feet, like, no thanks.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But Allison and I have been talking about her coming to visit Korea in the near future.
I
And
want
so
to so bad.
we thought it would be so much fun to talk about like things that, might be a culture shock in Korea versus America. Because we both grew up in the US and grew up in the same hometown, went to the same schools, like we know the same things. But the US and Korea have some very stark differences in their culture, in their like setup of cities and
But you know what I think is just so weird and I cannot get over this is me and Liz are both teachers. I teach fourth
Mhm.
grade special ed, fourth grade general ed, and she teaches
Yeah.
English. And
I
she
think I
works
know
with
what
like
you're gonna say.
little kids, and I work with like older kids, but we use the same curriculum.
We have
That
the
is that
same
blows
textbooks.
my mind.
I work with kindergartners, and in American age, my oldest students would be 6 years old or maybe barely turning 7. And these kids use the same reading textbooks that Allison's fourth graders use.
Like that blow I cannot comprehend that. I
Like
told
if
my
we
students
wanted
that and
to,
they thought it was the coolest thing. And my these are students that
yeah,
don't find anything cool. But they were
yeah.
like,
If we wanted to, we could probably like share curriculum stuff with each
I
other.
know.
Crazy. But yeah, my kids are really smart. I'm really proud of them.
Mm.
But the reason why is, and listen, if anyone in Korea is watching this, this is my own personal opinion. I don't want to step on your toes. I mean, this is your culture, how you do things, and I'm not trying to change it. But as a teacher, I do have concerns. And my concern is that parents over push their students, over push their kids, the students that I have. And so these kids are coming to school for the first time and they're being programmed to be burnt out. So I have students who do upwards of like in 1 week, they could be doing maybe upwards of 20 books, 20 different books. Some of them are writing, some of them are reading, some have to do with speaking or arts and crafts or science, whatever it is. But they're being overworked at one of my other schools. I'm not going to disclose, not disclosing any names, not disclosing any locations either, because I don't want to get into it. But I had students who would cry to me about how exhausted they were, how they wanted to leave the school, how they were so upset that they would physically harm others, people they loved. And it's so scary. Leela, are you okay? This
Leela's
is a
like
very like serious part, honey.
Leela, I'm sorry, my cat's like all over the place all of a sudden.
She's
Leela,
so
why don't
cute
you
though.
go out
It's
here?
fine. She has every
Okay, I
right to
think
do
she's just
so.
gonna sit now. I think she's
That's
good.
okay. She's good. So, anyway, these kids are overworked, they're exhausted, and they have to go into elementary school like this. Not even high school, elementary school. So, they're being overworked. And granted, a lot of their English has improved, and I'm very proud of them. And I'm very happy that I can be a part of that. And I know one reason why they enjoy having me as their teacher and why they're not as burnt out as they could be is because I try to bring as much fun and excitement to them about learning English and also just being their teacher as much as I can. Because these poor kids, if I have to make them write for hours and hours and hours on end, then I want to make sure they're at least laughing and having a good time. And that's why I think that being a teacher here can be rewarding because, like, I do get to have so much fun with these tiny little babies who are so cute, and they're
They're
not at a point
adorable.
where they're not going to be making gross jokes. They're not going to be misogynistic or racist per se yet. Sometimes they can be, but that's a whole other story. That's just their culture being, pushed upon them subconsciously. But no, usually they always have such cute little things to say. They try so hard to tell you about fun things that happen to them. Like they'll tell me that if they go camping or if they go on trips with their family. One of my students was telling me about how they have like different toys at home. They'd be like, "Teacher, I have a Ferrari car at my house," and they mean like a toy, but you're just like, "Whoa, that's amazing." Like, it's so much fun to hear about these sorts of things, and they're just very lovable. They love giving you hugs. We're allowed to, like, show
Oh.
them affection, which I think is really sweet. Like, I don't just have to give, like, high fives and fist bumps. I can give them an actual hug, which I think is really nice because sometimes these kids, especially at that age, still need those things.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I can be a part of that. But
I mean,
the
my kids
fact
need
that
hugs and stuff, and they're like 9 to 10, so
yeah, of course they do, but they try to tough it out sometimes more too.
they do.
Yeah. But it's just absolutely crazy that I can have students where granted their abilities in English are not the same as yours because yours are far more naturally learned
Right.
and subconsciously learned than my students. But the fact that they learn the same sorts of grammar and Leela, what do you see, honey?
It's this stupid
What's
door frame.
up? Oh my
Are you
goodness.
are you gonna speak into the microphone? Can you say meow? Can you say love
Meow
you?
meow. Oh, she looks so cute.
Normally she talks.
I
She's not
love
doing
that
it
this will
now.
be a part of our podcast.
I know. Thanks, Leela.
Hmm.
I know Charlie left,
Anyway,
so that's why
so
she's coming in now.
I know.
um,
I feel like we could talk about Korea stuff forever, but like the first time I went back to the US after living in Korea, I was really culture shocked. Like re-culture shocked into my own,
really?
culture again. Yeah.
It's
And
a
I
big
think
difference.
the biggest thing is definitely the diversity of people in the US. Like, you literally get a bit of everyone and everything, especially if you go to big cities like New York, LA, blah, blah, blah. But, like, even just the way people carry themselves is so much more casual,
Yeah, I remember
you
Young Woo
know?
meeting Scott, and he was like,
Yeah.
what is this? Who is this guy?"
Yeah. He was really shocked about your husband's personality,
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
very casual, so he was like, "What is
Hmm.
this?" Like, I
And
can't
also
imagine.
kind of quiet, like the first time he meets people.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's always quiet, which I think is tough because like every once in a while he has a sarcastic comment. So Young Woo was like, "What?"
'Cause he doesn't do sarcasm. The first
Yeah.
time where we would meet in person or even just talking and I would use sarcasm, he'd be like, "Wait, are you serious right now?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." I would have to explain my sarcastic jokes, and he's a lot better with it now, but sometimes he still doesn't always get it, and I think it's really
Wow.
funny,
My gosh,
but sometimes he'll get me too.
I just watched Guardians of the Galaxy because of the
For
ride,
the
because of the
first
ride
time?
for the first time in forever. And when they
Tell
weren't
me
getting
everything.
sarcastic comments, I was like cracking up. And now I'm like, I can only picture that scene where they're like saying all these like sayings, and Young Woo's like, "Are you
Mhm.
serious?"
Yeah, he's literally like Drax. Oh my god, it's so funny. But,
He looks just like
yeah.
him.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Oh my god. Oh, that would be crazy. But, like, what do you think you coming to Korea, like, what are you most excited for? What do you think is gonna be your biggest culture
Oh, that's a
shock?
good question.
Because
I
there's a
think culture
lot.
shock is always food. Um,
Yeah.
just because I'm vegetarian, it could be like sometimes a little harder, sometimes not. Like I remember when I went to visit, so Scott studied abroad in Scotland. I know.
Wow.
Uh-huh. And when we went to like Scotland, London, I hated all the food so much.
Yeah,
And
it's
that was the
very
first time I
bland.
realized how different food is than in America.
Oh yeah.
I haven't really had that problem ever since, but like,
And
I
London
don't
is going to
know.
be the more global spot in
Yeah.
England for different foods.
My,
Like
oh,
I studied abroad in London and I
yeah.
remember I didn't have that hard a time because I would always go into central London and find all my favorite restaurants and
But
one of them
their
was
cheese
literally
and sour cream and milk tastes
yeah.
different.
Yeah.
So
I
much so I hate
know.
it.
I used to make myself burgers for dinner because I had like a shared kitchenette with all my
Yeah.
flatmates. And I would make myself burgers and they would be so bland because the cheese was just like unflavored. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, this sucks. But
So
yeah,
I
no,
think in
literally.
general, food is what makes me most
Mm-hmm.
nervous, but like excited
Because
wise,
how do you do it spicy?
I don't like anything spicy.
Then we're gonna be in for a bit of a
I
ride.
know. I know. I'm not excited about that part. Like,
But here's the crazy thing. I don't like spicy either.
okay, and you
So it's
survive.
like I survive here, yeah. It's wild. Like I used to eat a lot more in my school lunches when I was at public school because I worked at an elementary school for a while as well and a middle school, and I can get into a great story about the middle school, but I'll save it for another day. Um But I used to have to eat the school lunches, and, like, the biggest part of it is rice. So it's like, you're gonna eat the rice, but then there's, like, all the little side dishes that come with it. There's, like, a soup, and I tried so much food in schools for the first time in Korea. Like, that was the place where I tried the most diverse amounts of food.
Yeah.
Now, at the school that I'm at, I also get lunch, but I don't eat as much of it because 'cause I'm like I've realized that I have more opportunity to go outside, go to the cafes downstairs, buy a coffee, buy a little bakery treat or something. So
You're
it's
so
like
much different than me. I'm like, if I can eat the school lunch, I'm gonna eat it because it's free.
yeah, it's like I want to, but then I'm just like, I don't want kimchi today because it's too spicy, or oh,
Yeah.
there's fish and I don't eat fish, so I don't want that. Or oh, these are like hard boiled eggs and I don't like hard boiled eggs. It's like I get picky with it again. Whereas last time, like when I was at elementary school, there was once this little side dish of these tiny little anchovy fish where you see the eyeballs, but
Nope.
I didn't know it was fish at first. So I started eating it and I'd be like, what is this? This is so weird. And then I would look at it closely, saw the eye, and then was like, nope, I'm done. I think I might go throw up in the bathroom.
Oh my, I can't. I can't even like. Ugh.
But
Mm-mm. I
it's
think, but
definitely
like
the best way to expose yourself, though.
the thing is though,
But
like I don't know how similar it is, but I used to live near Koreatown in Manhattan, and I
mm-hmm.
loved going there for food.
Mm,
So I'm like, but like, how much of that is like Americanized because it's in America, you know?
right. I mean, Koreatown did have a lot of very authentic Korean food. I will say that. Like I every time I would go to New York City for concerts and stuff, we would almost always go to Koreatown for like shopping and food. And the best part about Korean food in my opinion is the street food, which I talked about with your dad,
My
but
dad's
like
like obsessed.
it's so good and I can't wait to like show you all of that stuff
I'm
too
so
cuz
excited.
there are great places to go and find those things, and funnily enough, actually, Korea is really good about, like, vegan and vegetarian now. Like, they've worked
Yeah.
really hard to, like, add a bunch of products, like, to their, convenience stores or other places. Even, like, their fast food chains, there will be, like, the vegetarian burgers and stuff now. So, I don't think it's gonna be that hard now.
Yeah.
I think you're
I'm
gonna
just
get
picky.
here. Yeah, I think you'll be totally fine, and then you know
Yeah.
that eventually when you come to my apartment, I can cook for you too.
I just bring like 20 boxes of Kraft mac and cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I was waiting
refuse
for
to
that.
eat.
I'm like, here we go.
I go to a restaurant, I'm like, can you make this?
Yeah, literally. Oh my
Oh
God.
my
It's like
gosh.
bringing the ranch dressing in your purse.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think you're gonna have a great time and we're not gonna struggle that much with food. And I'm still gonna make sure we can do like the barbecue
Yeah.
experience, but we can like grill your veggies on the side and stuff like that. Like it's you're still gonna get everything.
I think what I'm
But
most excited for is like I just want to have like adventures. Like I just want to do things there that I
yeah.
can't do here. Like go on a big hike, see the North Korean border,
Yeah.
and then like I just want to do something like really adventurous. I don't know what, but just something that's like, oh my
I'm
gosh, I
sure we
can't
can
believe you
figure
did that.
something out.
I can't
Yeah.
believe you fed an alligator. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you fed an alligator.
In Korea.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because we're infested with alligators.
I knew it. I knew
But
it. It said it wasn't true, but I knew it.
they oh my God. But yeah, no, I mean, there's plenty of fun things that I've been able to do here that I haven't been able to do in other places. Um, and I think we'll find some stuff. I mean, we're gonna hit all the tourist places and do historical fun things too. And like the cool thing is my boyfriend Youngwoo, he's really good about when we go to museums, he knows all of the history because it's part of things that he has to study for his career. And so we'll
Wait,
walk
wait,
into a
really?
museum. Yeah, he's studying for tax accounting, but they have to study the entire history of Korea.
Why?
Beats me, but he has to. And so we'll go to a museum and I'll look at something and be like, "Ooh, that looks cool. Like, what's that?" And then he'll be like, "Oh yeah, this was used in this period of time for this thing and like these people would use it and like blah 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 blah." He would like tell me every piece of information I would want to know and would not want to know. It's like I'll hear
Oh no.
more than I need to know. And granted, I don't soak it in and like remember it, but it's like in the moment, it's nice to hear about.
I
But,
have a I have a student that does that, but he just makes everything up. So he'll be like, somebody will be like, "What's that?" And he's like, "It was made in 1845 by Thomas Jefferson." And what it actually does, and I'm like, "No, it wasn't." And he's like, "I know." I'm like,
oh my
we told him
god.
that like our dream field trip is for him to be a tour guide in a museum and just make everything up on the spot because he just does it so fast that I'm like,
I
I want to bring
love
you to a
that.
museum where he's like, and this statue over here is actually of Big Bird, and this is the person inside of Big Bird. Like, and you're like, sir, that's George Washington.
Oh my god. Wait, can I bring up something weird about Big Bird really fast?
You can always
So,
bring up Big Bird. This is a safe
okay,
place for
so
Big Bird.
so Big Bird.
ASMR Big Bird edition. I can't hear you. It just cut out.
Oh shoot, that's weird. I whispered. Anyway, so there was this thing happening on Twitter. So first of all, and I'm calling it Twitter, I'm not calling it X. Anyway, so on Twitter, respectfully, um, there was like a tweet going around about like Elmo asking everyone like how you were doing, and then everyone's like, "I'm
and,
not doing well,
and then
Elmo," or
everyone
like, "I'm
trauma dumped
feeling it,
on
Elmo,"
Elmo.
and like, yeah, yeah. But there was a side thing going on with Big Bird, and I don't know how
Wait,
many
I
people
didn't hear
know
about
about
this.
this.
I didn't hear about
There was a
this.
side thing about Big Bird shrinking down and being a small bird. And he had an entire week of him being a small bird before he became a big bird again. I need to find these tweets really fast. So
Like he accidentally stumbled into Honey I Shrunk the Kids. Like what is this?
something like that. Like I couldn't tell you. By the way, Big Bird's profile, his bio says he is 8'2". Like he's a big bird. And then like if he thinks
Like this dude is a big bird.
but if he shrinks down, like even if he only shrunk down half of the amount, he'd still be like somewhat normal size. He'd be like 4'1", which is like a child. So it's like
Wait, is the
how
person that's in the costume 8'4" then?
I don't think so. I think it's like I hate to like ruin the magic, but you know how the neck is like kind of tall and like the body and
Yeah.
everything? I think their face goes up to either like the neck or like part of the body, and then the rest of it is like a tall thing. Or they have stilts in the feet, but I don't think so
Wait,
because I
am
think
I
where the feet is feet.
dumb? Don't answer that. Um,
No,
I
you're not.
I
I
thought
will
that
answer
there was
it, but
just
no,
a
you're
really
not.
tall person in there.
Okay, so I'm gonna show this. So for
World's
audio
tallest person.
listeners,
Wait, world's
oh my
tallest
God.
person automatically has to play Big Bird.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
It's a
And I
requirement.
know where they are because I've watched a video about the tallest person. Anyway, so for our audio listeners, I'm going to describe the picture and read the tweet. So, first of all, Allison, here's the
That's
picture
a
of Big Bird being
small
small.
bird.
I know. And Big Bird on January 25th goes, "Uh-oh, does anyone know how to make me Big Bird or how to make me Big Bird again?" And it's a small picture of Big Bird in Sesame Street where he's like not even like half the size shrunken down, but like really shrunken down to the point where he's like as tall as the sideway curb. Like he's tiny. And so there's a whole thing of days of Big Bird just being small and like talking about it. And so he goes, "Day 2 of being tiny. Does this mean that I am now just Bird? Has anyone figured out how to help me?" And like the interactions are not as much as Elmo's. He only got 12K likes on the original shrinking post.
Justice for Big Bird,
I
honestly.
know. Day 3 of being tiny, I was able to get to Hooper's, but Baby Bear didn't see me. Do any of you have suggestions on how I can get big again? No luck with Baby Bear at Mr. Snuffleupagus. Also didn't see me. Oh gee, what am I going to do now? Hashtag help Big Bird. Like who is going to help Big Bird?
Wait, but now he's big again?
I'm pretty sure. Like day 4,
How?
sorry for the late update, friends. I was able to ask this nice bug for a ride back to my nest, but still no idea on how to get big again. Maybe I should ask for some help from grown-ups in government or college.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh no, he wants to go to the FBI.
Someone call the FBI.
The feds.
I talk to my kids. I'm like, we only call 911 if somebody's
I
being
know.
robbed, if someone's being murdered,
Oh my
and if
God.
Big Bird becomes little again.
Full circle this moment. He goes, I'm back in my nest and home always feels safe to me no matter what size I am. Love that for him. Day 5.
Wait, did he tweet love that for him?
No, I did.
Oh, I was like, why is he all
I
of a
said
sudden in
that.
the third person?
Love that for him. Day 5. It's been a big trip for a little bird, but I've learned so much. Even though it might be hard to see me right now, I've felt seen by all of you. Aw. Day
Oh.
6, still tiny. Hashtag help Big Bird. Oh, day 7. I'm big again. What an adventure the last 7 days have been. I've learned so much by seeing the world from a different perspective. At Elmo and so many other friends checked in on me. Thank you to all that checked in to hashtag help Big Bird. Today and every day, let's hashtag help each other.
Wait, how did he get big again?
I don't know. I don't
He
think he
just asked the
specified.
government? What kind of
I don't know if he
technology does our
specified.
Okay, conspiracy theory? The government has technology to make Big Bird into different sizes?
I know. Did anyone ask like how he got big again? Like I'm looking through the replies and everyone's just kind of like
Go Big Bird.
ignoring like what's going on.
Because like I just don't want Big Bird to like feel like this problem's going to happen again. Like I just don't
I know.
like
There we
was
go.
this a
Someone asked, "How did you get tiny and how did you get big? Why won't you tell us?" Like, yeah, I need to know.
I just don't want this to be a band-aid on a bigger problem for him.
I know, cuz God forbid what if it happens again?
Like what are we supposed to do? Do I have to have
I
my students
know.
call 911?
Literally. Do we need to call the police?
911 operators like we've already gotten 3,000 calls.
About Big Bird specifically.
I
We're
just
trying our best.
we have the president on
Oh
the
my
other
God.
line. We have the
Oh
army
my
on
God.
standby.
The United Nations is doing everything they can.
We're having an emergency meeting right now.
They're getting ready to press the nuke button. They're like, we don't know what to do.
Nuke what?
Go into such a panic that they're about to nuke something.
It's World War III. Elmo's like, oh boy.
All because Big Bird was too big or too small. Oh my god, I love that so much. Ooh, okay. I think on that note, we should wrap up.
I think we should. Thank you
Oh my
so much
god.
for listening to us and to listen. Whoa, that wasn't words. You try the outro.
All right, cool. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning into our podcast. This is our first international one. So hopefully our setup works continuously and you guys enjoy all of this. If you have any recommendations or feedback, let us know in the comments below of
Please do it
YouTube.
nicely, or I'll have to talk to Elmo.
Yeah. And Elmo is not going to like that. But
No.
anyway, so
Elmo's
leave us
already
some
been trauma
comments.
dumped enough.
Oh, for sure. Leave us some comments on YouTube letting us know how you feel about this. If you watch the video version, if you watch the audio version, give us a 5-star review on Apple Music and Spotify and let us know what you think about the podcast. And give us any recommendations of topics you would like us to talk about, whether it's Sesame Street related or not. And make sure to check out all of our social media links. We are Ghosts and Giggles podcast on TikTok, and I believe we are Ghosts and Giggles on Instagram and Twitter
Yep.
otherwise. And
And they'll all be
then,
linked down below in our YouTube bio as well. Or
yes,
description, not bio. Well, also the
absolutely.
bio.
Absolutely.
We shouldn't
They're
let me
they're
talk.
everywhere. They're everywhere. So check us out on social media. Make sure you check out our main channel as well because hopefully by the time that this video would go up, we will already have a main channel video on our ghost hunting Liz and Allison. So go over to that YouTube channel, check out that social media links all in our description and bio as well. And I think that's about everything. Anything else you want to add, Allison, before we go?
Justice for Big Bird. That's all I can say.
Justice for Big Bird. Hashtag.
Hashtag it.
Hashtag.
All right. Thank you so much for listening
Okay.
to us be psycho.
Yes. And we will see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.